All right, Big today is Thursday. It's October 21st. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Another free swim, old school doc review. Chief on the couch, Dante on the couch. How are we doing today, boys?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah, glad to be here. Office is this your office? What do you call it? Studio?
Dog Walk Studio.
It's coming along.
Yeah, Dog Walks. We need some more stuff on the shelves.
I
You
know.
need something behind your head.
Dude,
I know.
I have a great thing. It just hasn't come in yet. It's
What
still
is it?
I can't tell you. It's
All
a
right,
great
because
surprise.
I got
Tell
something.
me.
I got something in mind too.
It's kind of for everybody, not
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for
yeah.
you, but it'll look great in here.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll look into that. We'll get it figured out. I swear, I'm not diligently working on it, but it's going to get figured out. I know our
We still got that woolly mammoth tooth.
we got a great merch team.
Yep.
Allison Pilar, shout out to them.
Yep.
They were like, "Oh my god, I can't look at your shelves anymore," and they sent us merch. I think a couple hats made it up there.
You know who loves these hats?
Who?
He's talks about them all the time. It's Gay Pat.
Yeah.
Pat loves them. He says
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time he went to some sporting event.
He wears it all the time.
all the
in his
time. He
stories.
says he gets compliments on it all the time.
I
It's a good
appreciate
hat.
that from Pat.
Yep.
How was everything? How was the birthday? How was the Vegas?
The marathon.
I'm so relieved it's
The
all
marathon.
over. Can't even tell you. I was a ball of fucking nerves last week, and now it's like
Dude, yeah, you had a big week. You rolled the marathon right into Vegas, right?
yeah.
That's. Did you go for like a special IV drip or anything?
No, I'm afraid of needles. I would get an IV once a week if I wasn't afraid of needles. They're
Good.
game changers.
I think you should probably just
You're afraid of
get
needles?
over that.
Hate them.
Really?
Hate them. I get my blood pressure drops, and I'm just
Really?
talking about it right now. Yeah, I get like fucking. It's some hereditary.
Do you
thing.
have a needle thing?
No.
It's a hereditary thing?
Yeah, my mom has it bad.
I mean, there's differences in needles, right? Like, you ever done like when you give like a blood test?
Yes, this is like freaking me out right now.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
it's weird. I can like see other people's blood and shit, but when it comes to my
I want to
own,
ask
it's,
you a
like, weird.
certain question, but then I
Ask
also
it.
don't want to
Yeah.
put you
Ask
on the
it to
spot.
me.
No,
Ask
like
it to-
it's like I had my heart surgery when I was 16. Like the doctor was
You had
going
heart
over the whole
surgery?
thing. Yeah.
And you
didn't
run
know that.
marathons and shit?
Now I can. I couldn't.
Really?
I couldn't fucking back then. I couldn't like
Play
keep up with
sports?
anybody back then. No, I did, but I didn't know anything was wrong with me until I was 16. But yeah. So they're doing the pre-op thing and they're walking you through the whole thing, and my mom like fainted on the ground. It was a cold
Really?
blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what was the question though? You got to ask him.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Don't do that to me.
But you had a tough week, so you know what you probably deserve is a nice dinner. Where can you get a nice dinner at, Dante? A place that I showed you.
Oh, Gale Street Inn, baby.
What do you like there, Dante?
Fucking everything, man. You know what's so hard about that place? And you know I'm eating's like my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Their menu, I have not had a bad thing on it.
Yep.
And it's hard to decide what you want to get. I mean, obviously the ribs that's what you go there for, but the sides are fucking unreal.
And the seafood too. Like the ribs are the thing.
Yeah.
Like they're known for the ribs. You could take the ribs off the menu. It'd still be an awesome restaurant.
They're
Take
amazing.
the number one thing off the menu. So
I mean, I would never order jambalaya in my life. And a few times ago I went there. George was like, here, try the jambalaya. I'm like, all right, I'm obviously not going to disrespect the guy. It was fucking fire.
Yeah, that's good.
Fire.
It's good.
Now I get it whenever I go.
Nice offering of seafood. They got the blackened salmon, Alaskan king crabs. They got the crab legs. They're a house favorite and staple. They got the oyster Rockefellers. They're back on the menu. They got a whole bunch of great stuff. French onion, of course. Awesome potato skins.
And they're selling their barbecue
Au gratin.
sauce now.
Yes.
You
I
can get their
think in
sauce.
store, yes.
Yep.
Go to galestreet.com. If you want to place an order, they'll bring it to the Toast app. I know you can get it. So if you're in this vicinity and you're not near Jefferson Park, you can get it. It's brought to you. And ribs travel. I say it every time. I just feel like I have to beat that in people's heads because I'm a big like factor of like a lot of things don't travel, but
Yeah.
ribs do.
Dude, and they're great the next day.
Yeah.
You heat them up in the oven. They're not just as good, but
pretty
they're
close.
really good.
Pretty
Yeah,
close.
yeah.
Really good.
So go check that out, galestreet.com. If not, go check them out in the restaurant, 4914
It's
North
not a
Milwaukee.
bad little date spot.
No, it's a
Great.
nice. You look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A little outside the box.
Yep.
So go see George. Go see the crew. Great people over there.
Tell him Eddie sent you too, because every time I see him, he's like, you cannot believe how many people come in here and tell me
It always helps us.
Eddie's
It
on.
always helps
Yep.
Barstool. So it's like, if you see George, be like, hey, you see someone, the waitress, be like, hey, I like it. Barstool, something here. It's always good. So were you happy with everything with the marathon? Did it go as planned?
Yeah, I was really happy until I went on fucking social media later that night and people were chirping me about my time and shit.
Were they really?
Dude, fucking. So now, I was done with it after I crossed the finish line. I'm fucking done. Bucket list check. Never doing this again. I mean, it was torture. It was fucking. The last 13 miles of that thing, it fucks with you because the first 13 are pretty easy and it's flat. There's a few downhills, and you're like, man, I can do this. This isn't that bad. And then you get to Wellesley, and it's a whole different ball game. Everything is uphill. Newton is a nightmare. Heartbreak Hill is one of the most torturous fucking things I've ever seen.
The only thing I know about marathon running is Heartbreak Hill.
Dude.
I've heard of Heartbreak Hill before.
What the fuck is Heartbreak Hill?
It's what is it, mile 20?
So I think it's 20.
Is it 20?
And the crazy thing is I approached it and I started seeing all the signs, and I was like, I've driven up it and down it a million times because it's right straight through Newton. And I was like, whoa, this is fucking Heartbreak Hill. And then you realize why. There's fucking bodies laying on the sidewalk. People are gasping for breath. People are on stretchers. People are getting carted off on wheelchairs. I mean, it was a scene.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah.
People are really chirping you?
Oh, dude. So I made it through and I was like, did it, done with it, whatever. Went out and celebrated. Some of my friends came and surprised me, family. Cheryl was out there. So we went out to a big dinner in the Seaport, and I pull up my phone for the first time, and yeah, fucking Twitter eggs and people on Instagram with fake accounts and shit DMing me you took someone's spot that deserved it. You should be ashamed of yourself. And I was like, dude, I wasn't trying to beat the Kenyans.
Yeah.
I was raising money for the Gronk Foundation.
You did it, you completed it, and you raised money.
But now I'm like, fuck those people. I want to run next year and bust my ass and smoke.
That's how
time.
they win. That's how they win.
That's true. Because if you do fast that time, they're like, oh, why didn't you do it this time? You'll never win.
I don't know.
You can't appease those people. This is like you had to stop Hitler at Munich. Just don't even start. You did it, you completed it, move on. Bucket list is checked, like you said.
Did you what do you think about the people that ran Chicago and then flew to Boston for?
Dude, I blogged about it. Psychopaths. I knew. So Cheryl's station did a story on it, and she was telling me, and I think they highlighted 4 people. So I was like, oh, 4 people are nuts, whatever. But then at the marathon, they made an announcement that 3,600 people that ran yesterday at Chicago were running today.
Oh, say it again, 3,600?
Dude, only 20,000 people ran this thing this year as opposed to 30. It's the hardest one to qualify for. And 3,600 people, they said. Now, I don't know. I tried to look up to confirm.
I thought it was less than that.
That's what they said at the race.
Really? I thought it was less than that. But
Yeah, and my head exploded.
I almost, the Texas thing made me think of that plane crash. It's almost would you rather be in that plane crash that you survived, everybody walked off, or have to run back-to-back marathons?
No.
I think
I
I
would
would have
do
a.
marathons.
I think
I'd
I'd
do
have a
marathons.
better chance. Obviously everybody lived.
I mean, I just want to be able to do it. So it
Doesn't matter.
yeah,
Dude, my
but
boy.
if you had to walk, they made you walk both or something like that. Because I think right now, I bet you I could run maybe 3 miles, and I'd be walking the rest. And
I don't know. You'd be scarred from flying for a long time.
That's happened to my boy, DJ AM. He was on playing with Travis Barker. They survived.
Brought that up in the rundown.
He never flew again. And then he had to, and he started taking anti-anxiety medicine
Yeah.
disaster.
You know the
But
story. I mean,
Travis Barker, same thing. I think he just flew
a
last
couple
year or
weeks
some
ago.
shit
Yeah, a
like
couple
that
weeks ago. Yeah,
for the first time. Yeah, you would never be able to fly again.
with Kardashian.
See, I think I would.
No, bro. Fuck.
I think I
no.
would, because I would just do
no.
the math in my head. Be like, the odds of me being in another plane crash are 0. No one's in 2 plane
But dude, the
crashes.
helplessness of that feeling is I need to be in control. I need to have feet on the ground, not being in a situation where I can't do anything.
Be like John Madden the rest of your life.
I see it.
Traveling by bus.
You
Everywhere
also
go.
If I had a bus crew, I'd love to do that.
It actually.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. I'm on the record. There is no better sleep in the world than a tour bus like bunk bed. They are like coffins. They're super crammed. As long as you're not claustrophobic,
Yeah.
dude, you sleep like, I don't know if it's the movement, the white noise, the sound.
Sleep like a rock.
Pitch black is the fucking best.
Sounds like you're longing for the blackout days again.
No,
No.
dude, I wish we had a fucking bus. That was Sammy Adams. We had a bus for
Yeah.
a couple months, but no, we had a fucking Subaru and a Chevy Avalanche and La Quinta Inn.
La Quintas are tough.
Brutal.
Did so then what was the deal? You played like a big club at Resorts World? What was
Yeah,
that?
man. I went. So the marathon got done, and I was like relieved, and then it immediately kicked into freaking out about Vegas, which was 2 days after, because I haven't played a big show, and I mean, did Windy City.
Yeah.
but that was country music. It was totally different. I hadn't played like a
how is it
club room
different?
in a long time.
Why is
House
it-
party, Alesso, there's a little difference there. Right?
I see, but I would assume that there are way more people at Smokeout.
There were, but I mean, they weren't there for a DJ. They were there for fucking.
I know, which almost makes it to
Dirk
me.
Bentley.
I would be more nervous being like, look at all those people, and they're out being like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm here to hear the twang, and then you had the crowd going. Like that was like the most. Like I was there. I think I went all 4 days, kind of like by accident. That was the most hype the crowd got any of the 4 days. If you're set. So I feel like that. I don't know. I think me personally, I would be more nervous looking out into like a sea of people where I'm like not why they're there than being like in that type of club environment.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just weird like that. I mean, used to 2 years ago. I mean, I did club stuff with my eyes closed, and it was like riding a bike.
Shout out Tao.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then not doing it for a long time, and then getting back up and doing it. I was freaking out, but it went really well. It was an awesome night. I'm back out there in November with Tiesto.
Whoa.
Oh,
It's gonna be
nice.
awesome.
Fuck. Have you ever met him?
Yeah, he's really, really good friends with Rizzo. He's a huge like fan of sports.
Oh,
I
right.
didn't
Yeah.
know that.
So yeah, I've actually like hung out with him with Rizzo before. When he came by Chicago, he played at Prism a couple of years ago.
Oh, nice.
Wicked nice guy.
How nice is that place? That's like the new swinging dick at Vegas. Like it's a new kid on the block.
Dude,
Is that place?
Crazy. I mean, I was talking to Harry earlier because Harry lived in Asia for a while.
Yeah.
So he knew about the group. Their like Zouk group in Asia is like, I don't know what you compare it to here. Maybe, what would you say, Harry? Like the Ritz?
Yeah, I'd say it's like that, but for like venues and
Yeah, but they're in hospitality. They're in like
hospitality.
hotels. They're in casinos. They're in fucking everything. So they are like Singapore money.
yeah, that name is known all across Asia. Zouk.
Yeah. So
What's the big gambling city in China that I'm blanking?
Macau.
Macau, yeah.
yeah. So they're like feeder and everything over there, and then this is their first U.S. spot, and I mean they're spending money like I've never seen before.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It was. I am a little upset. I mean, I'm sure it's beautiful. I am a little upset that they didn't stick with their original theme. It was supposed to be like super like Asian culture-y. Is it still like that? Like
Very
they were supposed to
subtly.
be like a great wall.
Oh,
like
dude,
they
that
were
would-
supposed to be like fucking bamboo and shit.
You wanted to go clubbing at
That would have been
Epcot?
sick.
No.
Where'd you hear that?
Oh, like I heard that way back in the day. I mean, it was a cab driver when I was going through, and I was like, "What's this place?" And like, "Oh, this place is resorts. It's going to be like they are doing everything."
How
like,
new
they're
is it?
bringing in
Brand new.
Oh, brand new.
Yeah, I think they
bamboo
opened in
shit
July.
like that.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they snatched up everyone. They stole all the big DJs. So they got Snake, Tiesto. They just signed Calvin Harris.
They're big, yeah.
yeah,
they're fucking making noise.
Yeah, they're huge.
And actually, Vegas kind of brings us into the doc we watched yesterday too.
Yeah.
Obviously, before we get into it, we're owned by Penn Gaming, so gamble responsibly.
1-800 Gambler.
Like we don't obviously vouch for any of this. It's illegal. You should never do this. What's
Yeah.
in the doc? The name of the doc is called Bad Sport Hoop Scheme, and it was pretty good, I thought. But like I said, we're simply breaking down a doc. We're glorifying it and anything. So 1-800-GAMBLER, like you said.
Yeah, legally and responsibly.
Yes.
That's always the key.
So Bad Sport, Hoop Scheme was Scheme. I keep fucking
Why?
it up.
Yeah,
I love
What
it.
is going on?
I love it. You got so many words that you pronounce like
But a lot of times he does it on purpose.
But never mind.
Scheme.
I don't want to defend it.
Okay.
Bad brain.
Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
I'm sorry. Hoop Scheme. It was about the Arizona State 1994 gambling fixed point shaving scheme, and I enjoyed it. It was like an hour 10, and it's Netflix. They're doing like a 6-part thing, but it's an anthology, so it's not. That's the right word, anthology.
Yeah, they're not related.
They're
to
not
each
related.
Other. Yeah.
Yes.
So
This is just episode one.
when you mentioned this the other night, I was like, I never even heard of this.
It must be new because it was featured like on the top.
But what is this Bad Sports series? What are they?
It must be like sports scandals and shit like
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure they'll do. I haven't looked through. I can pull it up now, I guess. But
Yeah, they got.
I'm sure there's like a steroids one. There might be a Donahue one. You know, like they got.
I got you.
Yeah.
I hope there's Donahue.
Soccergate, the Cold War, 2002 Olympics, when the judge was pressured to rank Russia over Canada. So it must be like all like scandals.
These are good. I mean, these are right in our wheelhouse.
Oh,
Big time.
1,000%. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I didn't think it was out of the ordinary like any other point shaving thing. Right? There was no like super out of the ordinary thing. Like there was no like.
Yeah.
It wasn't sexy. Put it that way.
Yeah, I guess I was like there was a 30 for 30 one about the Boston College guys.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was very good, and it was featuring the guy Ray Liotta played.
Henry Hill.
Henry Hill was the real Henry Hill was in this documentary, and so I guess like one of the takeaways from me was that it wasn't the mafia, it was like a guy who was a student at Arizona State running an illegal book, and he somehow got that's what I guess I didn't like. I never really understand like this. So this kid, is that kid connected who was running a book?
No. So I told you guys that's Benny from Bounce.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I know him. So I know him. I knew
Crazy.
him.
That is a small world crazy thing.
So Benny, the owner from Bounce, he's like the fucking nicest, fucking funniest guy in the world. Like if you interacted with him for 5 minutes, you'd be like, oh, I can see how this happened now.
Okay.
He's just a character.
Do you know if he was approached to be in the doc? Because he wasn't.
Had to have been.
Yeah,
but
you haven't asked.
He's distanced himself so much from that life and that world. I mean, if you bring up gambling around him, he'll be like, guys, change the subject. Or he's
really?
he's very like
Out on that.
Yeah, I don't know the word. Contrite.
Yeah,
he's contrite about,
remorseful about what happened.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I mean, the thing that kind of like
He went to jail.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is at the end they showed what happened to Headache.
Yeah,
but what about
what a nickname too, by the way.
Awesome.
I didn't even know about this guy.
I didn't either.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and I like
nicknames,
vaguely like knew this happened, but I didn't know any of the details because it was so long ago. So it was all new information, but I would not have been able to tell you the players. Headache, and his name was Steven Smith.
Yeah.
But his nickname was Headache, and I thought he was starting to tell at one point the story of how he got the nickname, but he didn't.
I read it on Wikipedia.
Okay, what was it?
His mom said that he was just she would give him a headache.
Yeah,
he would give her a headache.
Yeah,
and so he became Headache, and then. The reason it was spelled like that was because the regular Headache spelling didn't fit on a license plate. so
I love that.
Just so like it's HEDAKE.
Yes.
Headache.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was surprised. To go back to Benny thing, I was surprised that so it's like, oh yeah, like this kid Headache is gambling and I got him. And it's like you would think that Headache, the star in the campus, like, oh, I owe fucking Benny the frat boy bookie, I owe him $10K. Wouldn't you just be like, fuck off? Like what was like the reason that he felt so beholden in that situation?
I think at that point they said the big red guy was involved, right?
No, that wasn't until the end.
Well, wasn't it the third game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought because the third game was what they lost.
That was the third game they lost. Yeah, but the reason that he was able
The
to
fourth game they lost.
right. So the reason that they were able to get him though to begin with was because he was 10K
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
to Benny. So it was like, what kind of enforcement does Benny have on Headache Smith? I
don't
thought
know.
that's what I wanted to know that I just didn't quite understand. But that part. I thought there was like a plot hole, I guess, and there was just like a hole in the story. I'm like, why didn't you just tell him to fuck off? Like you're the number one guy.
I'm sure he might have, man. I mean, he was a hustler. He was a fucking kid from New York City out in ASU, and I mean, he set up a fucking pretty big operation out there.
Yeah.
I mean, on that note, though, you know, it's a good way to pay off your debt.
What's that? Upstart?
Upstart.
I do love Upstart.
How about that,
Yeah.
Dante? You like that?
I'm on the record as saying I wish this was around back when I was in college. Would have saved my credit score for a long time.
Yep. Upstart, fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan that's all done online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Rather than just looking at a credit score alone, Upstart considers other factors like your income, current employment, and credit history to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000. You can even receive the funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Find out how you can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/Eddie. That's upstart.com/Eddie, EDDIE. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/Eddie. Go do it.
Have to.
Pay your loans, pay everything off in a better way.
Yep.
Use Upstart. Smarter way, I should say. Smarter. Not smarter. That's a key
Be
word.
smarter.
Smarter.
Use
Yes.
Upstart. But anyways,
Sorry. So yes, I don't know what kind of juice those guys had.
yeah, that's what I would have liked to know. Like
Yeah.
I walked away from that part of it curious.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't even that. Maybe like they made it out to be like, yeah, that was who was the guy from Chicago? Remember his name?
Joe.
Joe was like the guy who was making all the big bets in Vegas, and he was interviewed in the doc, and he at the time I think he said was like early 20s, like Chicago Board of Trade guy who just had like money laying around, and was gonna go and made all these different bets. But I wonder if they just were like, instead of like, oh yeah, I owed him, or if they were just like, hey, we got this deal for you, and he took it. Like, you know, like was he really?
Yeah.
Did he get him, or what? Does he feel like he was in debt, or did he just want to do the deal?
I would say the latter.
Yeah, so I would have liked to have someone dig on that a little bit. And I guess like my biggest takeaway was on the last, like just I can't imagine being in a world where you have a ton of money out there, and then you have no way to check scores. Like you have to wait for the paper the next day. Essentially,
Crazy.
It
Yeah.
is. How did people live in the 90s? Like how did they live?
I put on a shirt. I ran down there to see what the score was. Crazy. That was crazy.
I know, isn't that nuts?
Yeah. So that like the game where he had the most money out, the guy Joe. He said he like just fell asleep. Also insane. Like if you got what do you? I think
$3 million.
$3 million out on that game, and spread across all these different books across Vegas. So he was betting technically legally while doing an illegal thing, but he had it all out there, and then you just fall asleep. Like what? Like
Said
how
he
does
was
that happen?
physically and mentally drained, is what he said. But yeah,
He said he fell asleep for 4 hours, and he's just like they were up big. That is the worst. Like I've gone to sleep at night with it, but it wasn't like some kind of big number, but just like when you fall asleep and you're like, oh yeah, I think we're up 10, 12, whatever, and then you blow it, you wake up the next day and it's like fuck. That was that scene where he's like, yeah, like I had to get clothes on and walk down to the sports book and wait for the ticker to go by to see the score. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Different time. And
That's-
it also kind of made me realize too why so much of like the United States was against gambling, because this seemed like it happened so easily. So I don't know if this is more prevalent. Like I can never imagine people doing this shit now,
Dude.
because you know the ramifications. You think really?
I know.
You think so?
I know.
So you think there's people doing this shit still?
Dude. I mean, I got into this a few weeks ago when we were talking about the Donaghy thing. I mean, it's such a joke to think that was like an isolated lone wolf, like rogue incident.
I do think basketball is the easiest, other than like
Dude,
tennis.
collegiate sports are like, yeah, I mean, it's
Oh, see, I think it'd be
the
very
kids-
hard to shave
the
in a football
kids,
game.
the officials, the refs. I mean, I don't know. I think it's very, very fucking dirty.
I don't know, man.
One of the things I was wondering though while I was watching it is obviously from an ethics standpoint, what the players did was wrong. Mm-hmm. But like, if you want to really split hairs, like, why was that against the law?
To control outcomes of games?
No, I mean, they were winning games. They were just winning by less than they could have.
That is an interesting question.
Like, I was thinking that to myself, like, what, like, for that kid to do a year in prison, that was fucked up. Like, we're not talking about like rigging elections.
What was he actually charged with?
It was like a racketeering thing. I mean, they threw the book at him, obviously to make an example of him. But again, like, we're talking about, it was so niche back then. You could only do it in 2 states, or no, you couldn't even do it in New Jersey back then. It was just Vegas.
Yeah.
And I mean, they acted like he fixed an election, not like a fucking Pac-12 game. I don't know.
I get your point.
I get your point. Like, what laws on the books against that? So I guess it would be racketeering.
Or why? Not like why is it against the law, but why? Oh yeah, like why is that against the law? And
I think that's a valid question. Unless you're gonna like you.
I think probably when gambling passed, that became a law. So I was like, hey, here's the thing: we'll allow this country to legalize a form of gambling, but like if anyone tries to break the gambling rules, like it's illegal.
But then to me, if that kid is playing those games in Arizona State, in California, in Oregon, Washington, wherever in the Pac-10, he's not in Vegas. To me, it would be Joe who was breaking the law, right?
yeah, I mean, it's like a bribe basically, or
Yeah. But like this kid's not in Vegas, so it's not legal. So he's not making the bets. Racketeering definition is pretty broad according to the internet. I don't know how broad it is legally.
That's the whole point.
Yeah,
that's
so
why
it says dishonest and fraudulent business dealings, which is what he did. I don't know. It's and that is why it's broad, you said?
Yeah, they invented it to bust the mob and break up the mafia. So they made it really vague. But yeah, that was just one thing. And then when you were talking about the ticker, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, can you imagine the fucking stress of waiting for that? It would be like when you were a kid,
Snow day.
waiting for snow day, but times a million.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
you get fucking $3 million. And then this guy, he's had what, 25 years since then, 30 years.
Yep.
How can you imagine the rage he felt when he saw that they blew them out in the second half?
Oh.
I mean, he was very calm and
Yeah.
like he was like at peace on this documentary,
Yeah.
but he had to have been fucking. I mean, you have to throw up. He had to have puked.
Dude, can you imagine this? Imagine placing fucking all those bets at every different casino.
Many is
I'd
it?
rather run
Get
the
your
marathons
steps in,
back to
man.
back.
How Get your steps in.
All
Yeah.
right, so 9,900.
Yes.
So you don't
3
alert-
million divided by 9,900. How many bets is
Yeah,
that?
see, the math doesn't add up.
Yeah, unless he was like.
That's the only difference.
But I was trying
Unless
to.
if all three of them were going.
Well, you
So
said
like you're doing
you said he
30
had
grand
four-
a pop, you know.
Yeah, he said he had
essentially.
4 guys. It was his dad.
Yeah,
and,
40.
It's 300 bets. That's fucking 300 bets.
So yeah, it's essentially 40 grand.
Dude, how long does that take? That takes
that's a day.
at least.
Dude, the strip is so big.
I know. Would you say he had 4 guys helping him? 3 guys helping
Yeah,
him?
he had his dad and his 2 buddies. Dad's 2 buddies. Picturing 4 old school Chicago guys just fucking
Dude, I mean,
walking with these sacks of money.
you have to know so many neighborhood guys that worked on the floor at the board.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this guy was a North Side guy. I don't know where he's Northwest Side guy. He said he went to an all boys school. He went to Pat's and Notre Dame. I don't
Dude,
know
everyone. So when I first came to Chicago, that was like the hardest job to get. You had to be so connected because they made so much fucking money. Like he said, he was 23 years old and he just had more money than he knew what to do with. And I mean, I was the complete opposite. I was fucking dead broke. And I would meet these kids that worked at the board and it just sounded like the best fucking job in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know who I felt really bad for in the doc? Was the head coach.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know his story at all, but he was the head coach of Michigan. So he was an assistant in Michigan in like the 70s. Then he got the head job. He was the head coach in Michigan for really the entire decade of the 80s. He announces, I don't know if he had a contract dispute with Michigan. Bo Schembechler was the athletic director at that time, that he's going to leave and he's going to Arizona State. They fire him. Like, we don't need you for the tournament. That's the 1989 team with like Glenn Rice that won so it was like his team won the national championship. He takes the Arizona State job. He's doing well there. He's getting those kids in. This scandal happens. He never coaches again. Never gets another job. That sucks.
It's tough.
That's tough for that guy.
It's tough. He looked pretty old at the point, though.
Yeah,
So maybe
He's only 79 now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So his overall coaching record, 318 and 197. That's a very good percentage. That's like you're going 20 and 10 like every year.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but like you get that kind of stench on you from a scandal like this, and you're just toast. And it seems like he had nothing to do with
Big
it.
time.
So AP Coach of the Year 1985, Big Ten Coach of the Year 1985, and then his team won the national championship without him in 1989. Like fired in March.
Damn.
So
Didn't know that.
yeah,
That's cold-blooded.
But it was interesting. I don't think there was a ton of depth. Like, I don't, it was just kind of,
Good story. Good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It was cool they got the players to talk about it and
Yeah.
and explain what was going through your mind. I mean, I was cracking up when not Headache, who was the other guy? Isaac was talking about how he tricked out his Toyota Tercel.
yeah.
He was like, I had this like puke green Toyota Tercel, and he's like, I put more money into it than it was worth.
Yeah.
It's like the rims, the sound, the tints.
well, because what they get 40 grand for the first.
No, they got 20 at first. And
Okay.
then they,
And I couldn't figure out, was it 20 split or did they each get 20?
they didn't really say.
It bothered me. That
I
they
couldn't
didn't
figure that out
yes, that
either. I
bothered
couldn't
me.
follow that, but they were like, "What'd you do with the money?" And then both of them, like independent of each other, like we blew it, like just like
Yes.
blew through that money. So that was kind of, yeah, they were interesting characters.
How about this, though? This will be probably, in late 1998, before his prison sentence started, Gagliano opened his first of many Chamois Man car washes. Before going to prison, he proceeded to open a second location on the west side of Phoenix as well. By 2005, he owned, operated, and controlled over 15 full-service car wash sites in the Phoenix metro area and grossed over $50 million annually in sales.
I bet he did.
From car washes?
Yeah, I guess car washes are.
Edward.
I've heard both.
No.
I've heard
I know
both.
what you're trying to insinuate, but I have heard car washes are.
Big cash business.
I have heard that they're
Yes.
cash cows, but
They-
maybe
well,
I'm getting. lit
I've
up.
heard a lot of athletes lose fortunes.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
investing in them. So
I've heard that too.
I don't know.
They're like Antoine Walker, I think, was invested in.
I think Dykstra lost a shitload.
Yeah. Well, that's like it's like the Breaking Bad. Like, what business do we need? We need a cash flow positive business. Well, let's do car washes.
I don't know. Good doc. Go check it out.
I'm interested to see the other 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see if we see an interesting one. And also, we do have to point out Dante. Strike 2, swing and a miss. He teased that Chippendales one 2 weeks ago. I look on there; it's like a 6-part series that you got to subscribe to Discovery.
We got to do this one tomorrow. Let's do this tomorrow.
Yeah,
like, well,
Don, you don't understand. Like, it's not.
I guess I'll stay up until 4 in the morning.
No, it's on Prime. It's not on Discovery.
No, but it reroutes to Discovery.
What?
Yes, it's weird. It's very weird.
So you have to buy the Discovery Plus
Yeah.
subscription.
I have it. I'll share it with you guys.
Well, I don't know. This guy's got his head up his ass. Also, I can't confirm. I'm reading the Wikipedia that the groundbreaking Resorts World was supposed to have replica Great Wall of China
Damn.
and a panda exhibit. So,
Dude, that would have been
A panda exhibit
It
would've
could
been
still
wild.
it could still happen because they're only halfway done. They're still building another like 50% of the resort.
really,
Yeah, it's going to be massive.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But all right, once again, gamble responsibly. Don't do anything dumb or highly illegal. All this shit's highly
No
illegal.
racketeering.
Yeah, no racketeering. And 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
How was your tinfoil blanket? Did you keep it?
Yeah, I brought it. I meant to bring it today to
I
show you.
would have loved to see that. Yeah.
All right, I'll bring it. It's at my house. I'll bring it next time I come by.
Okay.
Yeah, that was better than the medal.
That was
I
a gift. They give you that gift, like that was just an add-in.
You got done, and it was like station. It was like water, medic if you needed it.
Banana.
No, I didn't see those. But then, what was the fucking third one? There was something else, and then it was metal, and then it was tinfoil blanket. And I told the lady giving it, I was like, "This is better than the metal. I've always wanted to put one of these on and see what they do."
Did it work?
It did something. It felt really good, but I couldn't tell what the hell it was doing.
It might have been just like the high from finishing the fucking marathon.
It was great.
Did you wear nipple tape?
Yeah, dude. One of them came off though.
Oh,
You chafe?
Yeah, bad.
Bleed?
Really bad.
at the end is there like a garbage can just filled with nipple tape?
Dude, there's it looks like a fucking war zone at the end of this thing. I mean, and at the start, people will wear full outfits and take them off, and there's just piles of clothes. They donate. There's signs like we donate all the clothing, but people were leaving like good shit, like Lululemon,
Oh, really?
like sweats, joggers. People were putting new pairs of shoes on and leaving shoes there.
What did you leave?
Nothing. I showed up ready to go. Like
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. I was supposed to.
That seems like the logical thing to do.
Figuratively left it all out on there. The other thing that I'm always like, I can't even believe that marathons exist. Like the story of the marathon is the guy like in ancient Greece like ran the marathon to like give some message to some nearby town and delivers a message and then drops dead. It's like, why are we just redoing this over and over? The first guy who tried it died. Just leave it there.
That's a great story.
You didn't know that?
Great point. No, I knew it was. I didn't know he died. I knew it was because he had to get a message that it was troops, soldiers were coming, right?
Yeah, they're coming. They're coming. Dead. Like, okay. Jeez. Thanks.
I love it.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. That's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.